A quick question to start us off. What do you think is the biggest threat to your cryptocurrency? If you're like most people, you're probably picturing a sophisticated hacker sitting in a dark room cracking passwords, or maybe some clever phishing scam in your email inbox. But what if I told you the fastest, most effective way someone can drain your crypto wallet doesn't require a single technical skill? Welcome back to Zak Wealth Files. I'm Zak, and in today's explainer, we're tackling the dark side of digital wealth, specifically a very physical threat that's actively targeting investors right now.
It's a brutal reality, but the absolute quickest way to steal crypto isn't a hack, it's a $5 wrench. Seriously, there's a growing, heavily documented pattern of crypto holders being physically targeted. They aren't getting hacked online, they're being confronted in person and literally forced to hand over their wallet access. It's actually become common enough that it's earned its own nickname in the space, the wrench attack. But look, my goal here isn't to scare you. By the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly why this happens, and more importantly, you'll walk away with a clear, actionable framework to protect yourself and your money.
Real quick, before we dive in, let's just set a boundary. This explainer is strictly for general safety and financial education. We're looking at publicly reported patterns, not anyone's private details. If you happen to hold significant crypto wealth, please go consult a professional security consultant. Your physical safety is paramount, and personalized security goes way beyond a general education overview. Let's unpack what we're actually dealing with here. The wrench attack is exactly what it sounds like. It's a physical threat or coercion where a person is forced to type in their own password or physically hand over their private keys. You see, criminals have figured out that trying to bypass layers of digital encryption is incredibly hard. But intimidating a human being, that's terrifyingly easy. And they're targeting crypto holders specifically because of how visible and irreversible digital wealth can be.
To understand the why behind this trend, we really have to look at the mechanics. Why do criminals target crypto instead of, say, a traditional bank account? Well, the core of the issue boils down to self-custody. This just means you personally control the private keys to your cryptocurrency wallet. There's no bank, no corporate middleman, no manager overseeing things. Now, for a lot of investors, this is the absolute best part of crypto, right? It's genuine sovereign ownership. But that exact same incredible freedom also creates a unique and pretty massive vulnerability when it comes to a physical robbery.
Think about the structural differences here. If someone breaks into your house and demands a wire transfer from your traditional bank, there is a massive amount of friction. Banks have fraud monitoring, transaction limits, and the power to freeze accounts instantly. Plus, law enforcement can often trace or even reverse those transfers. But self-custody crypto, it has absolutely none of those layers. There is no fraud department to call. If an attacker forces you to transfer funds to their wallet, the second that transaction is confirmed on the blockchain, it is final, unfreezable, and totally irreversible. That complete lack of friction is what turns a generic robbery into a permanent loss of wealth.
Okay, so the structural risk is real, but here's the part most people get wrong. There's a secondary factor driving these attacks, and it is almost entirely within the investor's control. Think about it. Traditional wealth is usually private by default. You don't walk around with your bank balance taped to your forehead. But in the crypto space, accidental wealth signaling is rampant. People publicly discuss their large holdings on social media, they post screenshots of massive portfolio gains, use their real names on crypto forums, and get photographed at exclusive conferences. All of this accidentally turns a private financial situation into a glaringly visible physical target.
And this is absolutely crucial to understand about the blockchain. Anonymity is not automatic. The blockchain is public, and it is permanent. If your wallet address ever gets linked to your real name, maybe through one careless social media post or a leaked exchange database, your exact net worth and your entire transaction history becomes fully visible to anyone who decides to look. You would never tweet a PDF of your bank statement, right? But linking your identity to your wallet is effectively doing exactly that.
Because of this high visibility, these physical attacks generally fall into two buckets. First, you have opportunistic attacks. These happen when your wealth becomes known locally, usually through careless conversation, and someone in your personal orbit decides to act on it. Then you have the second bucket, which is far more dangerous: organized attacks. These are groups that specifically research and target victims by combining publicly available blockchain data with real-world identity info to pinpoint an exact physical location.
Now that we understand the mechanics of the risk, let's pivot to exactly what you can do about it. We know clarity and trust always beat panic, so here is the complete step-by-step path recommended by security experts to lock down your self-custody assets. We're going to cover reducing visibility, multi-signature wallets, decoy wallets, hardware wallets, and general security awareness. Let's break these down one by one. Step 1 is honestly the single most impactful practice you can adopt today. Keep quiet. Simply reduce your visibility.
Stop publicly discussing your specific holdings, your balances, or your wallet addresses. Avoid making social media posts that signal sudden or significant wealth. You need to be incredibly cautious about who knows the extent of your holdings, even among friends you generally trust. The less people know, the smaller your target is, period.
Step 2 introduces technical friction. A multi-signature, or multi-sig wallet, is a setup where a transaction requires approval from multiple separate keys to actually go through. Think of it kind of like a nuclear launch sequence that requires two different people turning keys at the exact same time. In a coercion scenario, this is an absolute lifesaver. A single person being threatened literally cannot authorize a transfer on their own. It severely reduces the effectiveness of the attack.
Step 3 relies on a classic security tactic, the decoy wallet. The idea here is to maintain a visible wallet with a modest, completely believable balance. Meanwhile, you keep the vast majority of your true holdings completely hidden away in wallets that aren't easily discoverable or linked to your identity. If a physical confrontation does occur, the attacker sees the decoy, they get a small payoff, and they leave, without ever knowing your main vault even exists. Steps 4 and 5 are all about layering those defenses. You want to use reputable hardware wallets and enable their advanced features, things like passphrase protection or time-delayed transactions. In a high-pressure, scary scenario, a time delay can literally stop a crime in its tracks because the attacker can't afford to wait around. Finally, practice general security awareness. Be mindful of who knows your home address, your travel patterns, and your daily routine. For high-net-worth individuals, your physical routine is every bit as important as your digital passwords.
Let's zoom out for a second, because the wrench attack teaches us a much bigger, fundamental financial lesson about wealth building in general, and it's something every investor really needs to grasp. Wealth always creates a trade-off between control and protection. With traditional banking, you give up control. They can freeze your account or demand verification at any time, but you get meaningful institutional protection and fraud recovery in return. With self-custody crypto, you get absolute 100% control, but you have zero institutional safety net. Neither choice is inherently wrong. The real mistake is taking on full control without fully understanding the physical risks and responsibilities that come with it until an emergency actually happens.
It's a pretty jarring reality to confront, I know. Whether you already knew about this physical risk, or this is the very first time you're hearing about the wrench attack, we tackle these uncomfortable topics for a reason. Understanding the full picture, well beyond just the hype of potential gains, is the absolute only way to build lasting, resilient wealth. So here is your concrete action step for this week. Treat your crypto data, your balances, your addresses, your security methods, exactly like highly sensitive financial data. Because it is. Lock it down, keep it quiet, and respect the immense responsibilities that come with self-custody. I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If true financial sovereignty requires this level of intense operational security, is the traditional banking system really the enemy? Or is it just a different flavor of compromise? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more honest, hype-free financial breakdowns, and I will see you in the next explainer.